Brother asked to announce his engagement at my wedding. I said no. He did it anyway. I haven't spoken to him since. 2 years ago, at his engagement party, I asked my brother if I could make a small toast. Nothing long, just something warm, something that acknowledged how happy I was for him. He said the evening was already scheduled and adding anything would throw off the timeline. I said of course, no problem, and spent the rest of the night smiling at people I barely knew while my brother's fiance's family gave speeches that went 40 minutes over the timeline he'd been so concerned about. I didn't bring it up. I let it go the way you let things go with family, completely, officially, while quietly filing it somewhere internal. Then I got engaged, and my brother called to congratulate me, and somewhere in that conversation he mentioned that my wedding would be a perfect opportunity to announce that he and his wife were expecting. All the family in one place. Festive atmosphere. It made sense, didn't it? I told him it didn't make sense actually. I told him my wedding was for my fiancé and me, and I'd prefer if any other news waited for another day. He said I was being territorial. I said I was being a bride. He said those were the same thing. I told him the answer was no, and I'd appreciate him respecting that. He said he'd think about it. That should have been my warning. The wedding was small. Immediate family. A handful of close friends. The kind of event where every person in the room is someone you actually chose. My brother and his wife were there. My parents were there. My husband's sister flew in from abroad. 31 people total, which meant that when my brother stood up during dinner and asked for everyone's attention, 31 people heard it. I heard it from across the table. I looked at him. He looked at me with the expression of someone who has made a decision and is now simply waiting for the consequences to arrive. His wife was already smiling. My mother was already reaching for her phone. I said his name once, quietly. He said they had some news to share. I stood up and walked to where the DJ was set up in the corner and asked him to start the next song. Immediately, the music came on loud enough that my brother had to stop talking. Several people looked confused. My husband appeared at my elbow and said nothing, just stood there, which was exactly what I needed. My brother sat down. We didn't speak for the rest of the evening. He left before the cake. My mother followed him out and came back 20 minutes later with her feelings arranged on her face in a way that told me we'd be having a conversation on it. She said he was hurt. I said I understood that. She said he'd only wanted to share good news. I said there were 364 other days available for good news. She said I was making this into something bigger than it was. I asked her what she would have done if someone had stood up at her wedding and redirected the room's attention to themselves. She said that was different. I asked how. She didn't have an answer for that. Just a look that communicated I was being difficult in a way she found exhausting. My brother sent a message the next week. It said he was sorry I felt that way. That's the entire message. He was sorry I felt that way. Not sorry for what he'd done. Not sorry for deciding his announcement mattered more than my answer. Not sorry for making me start my marriage watching him do the exact thing I'd asked him not to do. I haven't responded. My mother calls every few days to provide updates on how my brother is doing, as though I asked. He's fine. His wife is fine. The pregnancy is progressing well. I say that's good to hear and mean it, because I'm not angry at the baby. I'm not angry at my mother for trying. I'm just very tired of being the person in this family who is expected to absorb things quietly and then show up the next time smiling. I thought about the toast a lot in the weeks after the wedding. The evening was already scheduled. Adding anything would throw off the timeline. 2 years later, he stood up at my wedding and throw off the timeline without a second thought. I wonder if he remembers saying that. I wonder if the connection has occurred to him at all. The DJ was very professional about the whole thing. I tipped him extra at the end of the night. My husband asked me later if I was okay. I said yes, and I meant it. I'd said no clearly. I'd held the line when it mattered. I'd gotten married to someone I love in a room full of people who came for us. My brother made his announcement. Nobody heard it.